Welcome everybody to the 18th annual Urban Farm Fruit Tree Program. And today we're here with Jake Mays. Hey, buddy. Thanks for having us. You know, when you proposed that we actually shoot a video out here, it's like, this is live action stuff. No, we're gonna zoom in, we're gonna see his yard, we're gonna see the 4 stages of wood chip breakdown, we're gonna see what he does with wood chips, we're gonna talk about mace mix.
You know, I'm really excited to get you guys in person. This is gonna be a cool experience for folks out there watching to see my yard in person, and I can show you guys out there watching what I'm growing, how I'm growing it, what's thriving, what's not. It's August in Phoenix. It's hot. It's hot. It's 120.
Yeah. You know what I noticed the past couple of years is that it's gotten harsher in summertime.
I think
it's getting harsher.
the cold getting colder and the hot's getting hotter.
No, I think the hots are getting hotter here. But we haven't had freeze for the past 2 years here in Phoenix. Area? Yeah. So that's actually good for tomatoes and citrus and those kinds of things in the wintertime. So I have noticed that. And one of the things that we really need to do, I think over and over again, is we need to shade your trees. You need to put in nurseries, so trees that kind of fast shade. Yeah, like there you go, like that. You need to put in lots of wood chips. You need to cool your microclimates down. Don't try and put a fruit tree next to a block wall without 6 or 8 or 10 inches of wood chips through the entire space.
Or 3 feet of wood chips.
Or 3 feet of wood chips.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna show you guys. Should we come on a journey? Let's do it. Let's go on an adventure in my backyard food garden. For all you gardeners out there who are beginners or experts, there's a few things I do that everybody should adopt when they're gardening, especially where we are in the desert. And one of them is using fruit trees with in-ground gardening, with raised bed gardening. Using a lot of wood chips. I put wood chips everywhere in my landscape. Using the native bushes and native plants with native trees with heat-tolerant and drought-tolerant plants in your garden. So first, I'm gonna show you guys is how I'm using wood chips to supercharge the growth of my fruit trees, to conserve water, to keep the mud and the weeds down, and to also build healthy soil that will feed those trees when I get 1 to 2 years into the wood chip process. I'm gonna show you guys how wood chips break down over time. And I'm gonna show you the exact soil that I use for fruit trees. And hopefully you guys will use it to have a little bit of success in your gardens, even if you're a beginner. So first, let's talk wood chips. How I'm using wood chips, where do I get wood chips, and how wood chips break down into healthy soil over time. This is the back corner of my backyard. You guys don't know, I have an entirely edible landscape. I have over 200 fruit trees here on just a third of an acre, and I'm in the heart of Tempe. So my neighbors just have traditional 1970 neighborhood with granite rock front backyard landscaping, cactus, and native bushes and plants. I've chosen to do an edible landscape with plants that will work in the desert, and also something I'm experimenting with. And one of the experiments a few years back with papayas, and I really love finding out. So my papaya trees have given me over 75 fruits this year so far. And this is important for you guys to see because you can't just put papaya in native soil, native clay, and walk away. You know, it's an infant, and you're trying to put the infant in Manhattan, and usually the infant will die. That's the case. It has to have a parent to help nurse along and help it grow up strong in the city. Okay? And trees are like that. So when I put these baby papayas, I put them in the ground with some special soil, and I put a ton of mulch around the trees. So right now you guys can see there's this kind of a foresty kind of environment here, and on top it's all this fresh mulch just like this thing right here. If I dig down a little bit lower, if you guys can see over here, as I get down lower and lower, you start to see some of the white that's on the wood chips, and now my hands are hitting some moist soil. I'm doing some stuff like grubs. If you guys don't get gross out of grubs, put them in a second. All those grubs and insects and beneficial fungus are all necessary to make healthy soil. So if I pull this handle from down low, you can see how the mulch used to look like this in my left hand, and now it looks like this in my right hand. And if you guys can back a little bit, what you can't see, what you can't feel is that in my right hand, in this hand, I can feel all the cuticles hitting my skin right now, growing color around my palm. Because it's full of life. This preserves the soil that's underneath. So one of the things I do, one of the reasons why I can't do it for you guys in person today is I'm backpacking 40 miles in northern Arizona right now. And I do my backpacking trips, no matter where I'm hiking or backpacking, I'm able to see how nature grows a garden. And I dig through the pine needles and through the broken trees and through the mulch, and you can see how nature is growing veganically using mulch like this to create soil like this. So if you guys are going to use wood chips, pile on, baby, pile on. Especially in the desert, don't be afraid of rotting out the tree because we're a very dry climate. Put the wood chips on top of the soil only and layer it like lasagna, month by month, season by season, year by year, and over time you'll get this stuff that the trees love and bugs love, and you can get papayas to grow in the desert. Right next to my papayas, still in the tropical corner of my yard, are guava trees. And I found that guavas or guavas grow very well here in the desert. I got a couple of these guavas from Ray Peterson, Top Tree Nursery, and they take the cold very well and the heat very well. So this is prime guava ripe season right now. I'm gonna show you guys how trees produce the fruit. So this one's from Ray Peterson, Top Tree Nursery, about 3 years ago. It was a little tiny, like $10 guava tree. Now it's a nice looking tree, about I would say 10, 12 feet tall. If I go down low here every morning, I come out and there's little guava donations that the tree drops and gives to me.
I love that guava donation.
Another white one. Kind of like pear consistency, but it tastes like tropical juice, like tropical Korean juice at the store. When I'm done, I get to my first wheel where I throw the extra pieces back into the root of the tree, cover it with some wood chips, and that becomes nutrition for the next season. Over here is the pink guava. Let me show you that one. I go down here. You can see this morning, these guys dropped, and these are the pink ones that are my favorites. So I see this one. It's pink onions. These taste amazing. They're so good. And these guys ripen sometimes in the spring, to overwinter. I've seen some mature ones in Arcadia with the foliar properties that mature early in the spring, and sometimes they mature in August. So you might get 2 cups of them. And that's the secret goes about. The coolest thing about gardening is not growing beautiful trees or plants, it's eating the food. And all my hard work comes to fruition right now. Comes to fruition right now. Okay, what I want to do right now is I want to give you guys about 10 trees that I think are vitally important for desert dwellers to plant in their gardens. 10 trees. They're all edible and they're really important. So grab your notes and write down these 10 trees. And before you ask me if papaya or avocado or banana will grow in the desert, you must prove yourself worthy by successfully growing these 10 trees first. And once you can copy the ante and grow the more fun stuff. So number 1 tree for Arizona is date palms. Date palms. They grow in the Middle East, which means we can grow them too. But they're notoriously difficult to find, to cultivate, and to get the fruit from the harvest. You gotta know what you're doing. But if you find a fruiting female date palm, that's the key, fruiting female date palm, you're able to produce 200 pounds of fruit per year potentially. Okay, next on my list is the female fruiting carob. C-A-R-O-B. This guy was planted 2 or 3 years ago and has grown very big. He's in an area of my yard that's very exposed. It goes to wind, sun, freeze, and it does great. This is gonna be the biggest tree in my yard eventually. And carob, the female fruiting carob, puts legumes off that are kind of brown color, and they taste like a chocolatey bean. They're a chocolate substitute. So you want to grow chocolate in the desert, don't grow a cacao tree. We're in the desert. If you're in Hawaii, but in the desert, grow carob, because then you get a bean that works well, it takes freeze and takes heat, it's beautiful. You can have a treehouse and eventually it'll produce chocolate like bean for you and your family to enjoy. The next tree that grows so well here in the desert is pecan. There's several varieties of pecan. This one is a bare root tree, which is just a stick with some roots hanging off of it. I put it in the ground, and now 5 years later we have this nice looking tree. They do grow big, they do grow slow. You have to be patient with this. I'm a very patient man. I've been waiting hard. This year I got about 20 or 30 pecans off this guy. Last year we only had 3 for the first time ever. So every year that goes on, I'll have more and more pecan harvest. It comes 2 years from now, I'm making pecan butter, pecan pie for every vegan athlete in town. Next on my list is mulberry. Here's the thing, very important to get the female fruiting mulberry. And of all mulberries I've sampled, the Pakistani one is my personal favorite. It's a big long berry. It tastes like syrup in fruit form. It's very delicious. They usually fruit all of March in the Phoenix area. This one here is the purple Pakistani mulberry. They grow rapidly. So if you want a parrot tree and a shade tree, the mulberry is also your best bet. Okay, next on my list is anything native. It's crucially important you want to have a successful edible landscape. When you guys go see Ray Peterson and find out what fruit trees he has at the Top Tree Nursery, it's really important to protect those urban farm fruit trees with the native trees because the native trees don't need any water. They can survive off native rains and they take 100% of the condition that Phoenix weather have to grow it. This one behind me is an ironwood tree I planted years ago. It was a $7 baby ironwood. Now in 7 years has grown to this size. The ironwood tree, the same as the Palo Verde tree, they all have edible flowers. So the edible yellow flowers of Palo Verde and the ironwood flowers are edible. When they put out the bean pod, the legume, it's also edible. You just pop the pea out. Don't need to see it. Pop the pea out when it's ripe and green, and eat the pea on the inside. It tastes like edamame from a sushi restaurant, especially if you put a little bit of pink Himalayan salt on it. You'll blow your friend's mind with how much knowledge you have in your native environment. So I think that's mesquite for the edible pods you turn to flower. Shoestring acacia for the edible pods. Palo Verde for the edible flowers and pods. Ironwood for the edible flowers and pods. And the desert willow tree for its medicinal value. Creosote bush, which is used medicinally as chaparral for its medicinal value. Even the flowers of the ocotillo, not to mention the fruits of all different varieties of cactus like the Molitos, turkey pear, saguaro. Guys, anything native. You live in the desert. Plant desert appropriate trees I just mentioned, and you will see that they will insulate your food forest and make everything else you grow thrive. I guess the next one is fig. Figs grow great in the desert. You'll see them all in Arcadia. This one's tiger notch fig, mission fig. Go find yourself some fig trees. They go dormant in the winter, and they'll give you the most delicious fruit you've ever had in your entire life. I already mentioned it earlier, but guava is also my top 10. You see this nice cluster right here? You got the baby fruit. When they'll tweaks away from being ripe. When they turn yellow like this one, they'll fall right off. And then
Oh, that's too good.
I got breakfast. Next is pomegranate, or in Canada, we call it grenade, or granada español. The pomegranate has dozens and dozens and dozens of varieties. Find some that you like and plant one. This one's Angora, also planted Parpianga. They go deciduous in the winter, and they ripen the fruit around the same time that oranges ripen. The next one is called Chinese date or jujube. And the jujube also goes deciduous, loses leaves in the winter, but it takes the heat of the desert like no other tree. It's amazing. And the fruit of this one falls down to the ground. I just set that down here. It's like a jujubes. They kind of look like dehydrated red giant raisins. I'm crouching under the shade of this jujube tree. This one's a different variety. And if I pick a fruit off that looks like this, and I pick one that looks like this. Same tree, same fruit. This is about a month behind this, maybe like 2 or 3 weeks behind. You can eat it like this. It's crunchy like an apple. It's sweet like an apple, but not as juicy. If you let it hydrate to this, where it's kind of spongy, that's right. Because now, it's like eating a apple with the pit inside.
You suppose that's where the name of the jujube came from?
Maybe. I was wondering about that. It's so good. Incredibly saying how it has a slight chocolatey taste. So, as a customer, you gotta share with the camera person. So you're good.
Thanks.
plant a jujube, you guys will not be disappointed. I would say 4 or 5 years ago, I went to Greg's nursery and I got a few citrus trees, a mandarin, a tangerine, and a grapefruit. I wanted to plant a citrus hedge like Greg has a garden farm. So I did. Now 4 years later, we have this thriving citrus hedge full of fruit. This one is tangerine. The Clementine tangerine is so delicious. My favorite citrus tree in the entire yard. But Greg says, I believe that citrus are powerful because the fruit stays ripe on the tree for months and months and months. If you plant an apricot, you've got 2 weeks to pick it, and then the fruit is over. But a citrus can stay there for 1/3 the year, and you're picking the fruit that whole time. And the last one, I know it's a little more than 10, but it's really important. But you guys are towering above my front yard here. Once you guys join me, I'll show you guys what they are. These trees that I've had grown for 4 years are kind of like a native. They put up these seed pods, and inside there are the seeds. And you guys can get these seeds from digmace.com. These are moringa seeds. And these moringa trees have leaves like this. And this is the power of moringa. This is the power of moringa. This is one of the most nutrient dense foods on the planet. Every leaf is edible, and it's basically a multivitamin. Some research online says it cures cancer. Who knows? You can eat the leaves when the bean pods are green and small and young. You eat them like green beans. The bark uses an antiseptic like aloe vera, and the flowers are also edible. So the time of year right now with trees, you can put off lots of the new green leaf growth because of the monsoon rains, and all the seed pods, they produce amazing seeds that look really incredible. And no joke, if you guys were to plant this seed and start a moringa tree, in 9 months the tree would be 15 feet tall. I had this experience at least half a dozen times so far. So if you guys are interested in moringa, only $5 for digmace.com. Get a pack of seeds, and you won't be disappointed. It's definitely one of the keys of growing food forests in the desert. One of the lifebloods of my garden is right here. It's how the wood chip that was just delivered because we had some pretty intense monsoons last week, and the tree company decided that they had an overabundance of wood chips. So I tell them that instead of dumping them at the landfill where it costs them money and it just produces methane and carbon in the atmosphere, bring it to my house and turn it into black gold compost. People often watch my vegan athlete YouTube channel, they comment down below my video, Jake, why are you always sweating all the time? Well, I'm doing videos like this for you guys at 120 degrees outside. This tree has been like that heat. It's called an Ace World Cherry or Barbados Cherry. I planted it in the ground about 3 or 4 years ago. And it's really important tree because I want to show you guys the 4 kind of stages of wood chips. I show this demonstration when I do live gardening groups or tour my landscape, and people really see how wood chips break down into very impactful things. I want to show you guys right now. So the fresh load of wood chips I just spread is on top, and it looks like this. It's in my hand right here. See how it's all full of sticks and wood chips, big chunks. It's really pretty raw and not broken down. Let's hold it in this hand. Then if I take my hand right here and just brush the top layer away, a little brush, like a lasagna or a cake or an onion, another layer. So I grab this layer, and do look how they look different. So this one here is about 3 months in, and this one's fresh and new. So this one in this hand has been through a whole season so far. And look at how they're different. This one in this hand I'm crunching right now is all broken down, and this one's still raw. And one of the best ways you break down wood chips is to have dogs, because the dogs and friends and family that walk on it, their weight, their body weight breaks it down from this into this. And the coolest thing about all that white inside this hand, called the mycelium or the mycorrhizae, is that it can talk to other parts of your yard. So it bonds the roots of the trees and allows your trees to communicate, share nutrients, and talk together. We think that we're the first people to invent electricity on the internet, but plants have their own internet and electricity called mycelium. Now I'm gonna take the second handful, put it over here, and we're gonna dig a little deeper. So let's go through that layer and go a little bit lower in here. Now we're gonna go ahead and put it down. Ooh, it's getting warm. In a good way. So now you guys can see the coloring begins to change. The texture is less coarse and more fine, almost like coffee grounds. This hand is getting black and getting more broken down. This hand is still a bit brown and raw. And this hand, what you guys can't feel is that I can feel roly-polies and worms crawling on my skin because they're trying to hide underneath the soil in my hand. So this one now is full of life, and this one is still preserving that life, much like you put a sunshade in the windshield of your car. This is the sunshade that protects all the vital stuff on the inside. Okay, this is the third handful. Let's get the fourth stage. I'm gonna take right next to you a little bit deeper in here and go lower. We got a little root. And now that is very fine, and this is what the tree is growing in. This is what the roots are growing in. This one on my right hand here is the lifeblood of my trees. And so when I say to you that you want to water your trees effectively, you also want to feed your trees effectively. And this is the food right here. This is the beginning of the food right here. Let me put all 4 stages together so you guys can see them side by side and see how the wood chips break down over the course of about a 2-year period. Okay, it's powerful when you guys see them side by side. So here's the 4 stages we just talked about. This one is the raw wood chips. Look at how we got chunks. We got chips. We got some leaves. We got some bark. This is called growing organically. When I go on a hike in the forest, this is what the forest does. Trees fall down, guys. The bark falls off. Leaves rot as the seasons change, and it forms this. And this is the top layer that protects everything that's vital down below. This also conserves water. I would say about 3 or 4 months in, this is what happens. This one. And now we can see how it's starting to have some white mycelium, the mycorrhizae. I still can see some of the chips and some of the chunks and some of the leaves, but it's significantly more broken down than this. This 4 months later than that. But then we go about 6 months later, and boom. Now some of the chips fall down below. You can see how the coloring changes. And this now all black in there. I would sift this in a sitter. That would be the compost you buy from the store. So this is like worm casting and compost made by Mother Nature through breaking down wood chips. It's got a different color. And then boom, this is what trees' roots are growing in. Look at all this white. That is the pure mycelium, full of bugs, full of beneficial bacteria and fungus, full of worms, full of theor roots. The theor roots thrive in this of the tree. And what's really powerful about this is that it's really spongy. And we call this the humus, the forest humus. This is the stuff that's really expensive when you buy it from the store. You guys need to buy it and make it yourself just by putting wood chips on your landscape. I become over the years kind of a connoisseur of soil and wood chips. And my family thinks I'm a psychopath. They come over and I'm like, that's why I try my dirt. And they think I'm crazy. But it's a really cool process when you're a gardener and you create this out of this in just about a 1-year period. Look at before and after. This is a free resource that they're going to throw in the landfill anyways. And I just told them come over to my house. Boom, from this, now we have this and this. Ooh, that's a good stuff right there. You know, everybody's asking Greg and myself the same question when it comes to wood chips. Where do you get them? Scorpions. Do they bring the scorpions? And do they bring in the termites? And my answer is, I don't know. No. I'm just kidding. I'll give you guys an inside track. Where do you get wood chips? Many different ways, okay? One way is you can just open your ears and listen to when you hear people around landscapers chipping trees. I have at least 3 or 4 loads of wood chips over to my garden here that I just found some landscapers who were chipping trees. And I said, those are pretty good. Do you want to dump those at my driveway instead of the dump? They're like, yeah, because we'll save 2 hours time and $150. They normally go down to the dump, wait in line, pay money, and they lose that time when they could be chipping more trees. So they dump it at my house to save some money. Number 2 is you can go to Craigslist or to APS or SRP and see if you can find somebody on Craigslist or the power company who's offering wood chips. Number 3 is this new website or app called chipdrop.in. And I have been managing, I'm the moderator of my Urban Gardening Arizona Facebook group. Speaking of that, you want to join, please do. It's a great Facebook group for gardeners. Urban Gardening Arizona, we have 30,000 members. And the members talk about chipdrop.in being a great resource for getting wood chips. It takes about 2 weeks. Number 4 is to be cool like Fonzie. Because if you're high maintenance, the wood chip guys who are the salt of the earth guys will never drop chips at your garden again. Okay. If you have demands on them, like it's gotta be here, I want to have a load, those aren't that good, I'm not gonna come back. You gotta trust them a little bit. You gotta clear your driveway out. And then once they're done, you gotta move into your landscape within a week or else your neighbors will complain. So the goal is to be cool with landscapers, make it easy for them to drop the entire load. When they drop a load of wood chips, it'll be a 4 or 5 foot tall pile that spans the whole length of your driveway. So make sure that you guys realize it's a lot of chips. I have dumped over 55 loads of wood chips so far on my property that were that size. What you're looking for to tell them is you want a clean load. Write it down. You guys have a clean load of wood chips. Hey, you guys this week have any clean loads of wood chips? Because that tells the shipper that you want just the wood chips. You don't want sticks and stumps and rotting citrus and trash, all that other stuff. You want just a clean load of wood chips. And typically when the wood chips come to you, they're not from diseased trees. Typically they're from trees that just got cleared out in an area, or a monsoon just came through and they're chipping up all the debris. So usually freshly chipped trees. And folks often ask me, Jake, how about oleander or citrus trees? It's all good. I think that if you were only spreading oleander for years and years and years, you may have a problem. But when it's a potpourri of different kinds of chips, natives, oleanders, the ficus trees, when it's the eucalyptus, when it's the palo verdes and the mesquites, it's all potpourri of different kinds of chips. It will all break down into the black gold humus that you want. Now, the other 2 questions that Greg and I are both getting are, does wood chips bring in termites? And my answer to this is no. The wood chips don't bring in termites, but everybody thinks about termites regardless. Right? So even if you are living on the sidewalk, you have a rock landscape in front, and you have no wood chips, you still might get termites. So I have found no evidence so far that wood chips bring the termites. I have 2 theories. One theory is that the wood chips bring in such a well-balanced ecosystem of insects and bugs, it helps to kind of balance out the bug kingdom. The other question is scorpions. I have kids, so I'm afraid of scorpions. Does the wood chips bring in scorpions? My brother John, who lives in Phoenix, bought a new house for him and his family, and he didn't have any wood chips. He had grass and granite rock on his landscape like everybody else does. And he had so many scorpions, he had to make it almost a sport for 3 weeks to go at night and kill scorpions. I've been throwing wood chips this way for 5 years. I have 3 feet of wood chips all over my property. I have only seen 1 scorpion in the past 5 years, and that's it. And so I have found that wood chips create a more well-balanced ecosystem. They don't bring the pest bugs. They bring in a well-balanced bug kingdom. It's gonna help you pollinate your fruit tree flowers, pollinate your garden, and it's gonna help you have a thriving landscape. And you gotta imagine these trees are going through a shipper like a movie Fargo. They're going through there. So nothing alive can do that wood chipper. And if it does, when it goes in your landscape, you know, the geckos come in, the lizards come in, the butterflies come in, the worms come in, the millipedes come in, the cockroaches come in, the flies come in. When you guys were kids, I know for a fact you all had lizards or fish. If you had fish, you gotta create an aquarium. If you had lizards, you gotta create a terrarium. You gotta create a living ecosystem for those animals. When you're gardening, you have to create a living ecosystem for your plants, just like you were a kid. If you guys stay with me to the end of my presentation, I'll show you guys my favorite part of my yard, which is my koi fish, my koi pond, which is an integral part of my landscape as well. But I want to talk about what I call Mace's Mix, not because I'm arrogant, because it's the soil that I use in my garden for fruit trees and growing a raised bed garden. I'm gonna leave the wood chips here to the visual aid for you guys. Behind the wood chips, I'm gonna put the components I use in Mace's Mix. When I'm planting a new fruit tree, I of course use some of the native soil. So when you guys dig the hole, you want to dig the native clay or whatever's in your ground out of the hole and save it on the side of the wheelbarrow. Very important. When the hole is dug, here are the things I put back in the hole with the tree. One is this stuff right here. This is locally made, organic, we call it the biodynamic active compost. And this was made here in town Phoenix. And so wherever you guys are at, if you're in Phoenix, I recommend trying to find Western Organics, Royal Compost, or any local person you can find who's doing their own compost in town. The reason why it's powerful as a gardener to find a local person who does compost, or do your own compost, is because when you put the compost in the hole with the fruit tree, it's alive. You go into a big box store, I will not mention this video, you'll find that corporate America exists on the shelves, even in soil. And there's 20 different kinds of soils there. They're mostly just a bunch of dust because they're just dead in a bag. They sit on the shelves for months and months and months. They ship across the country. There's no power in that soil. You're gonna pay $20 for dust. Find me local. Become a local board. Support local. But also for the betterment of your garden, you want living soil that was just created. Hit up Greg Peterson, top of nursery, all the stuff you need right there, and include compost as a key component in your fruit tree. I just recently had some expert gardeners come to my garden tour, and they told me that they were told not to put compost in the hole of the new fruit tree because that might train the fruit tree's roots to stay only in the hole. So they were taught that you want to use 100% native clay so that the tree gets used to it and is encouraged to grow out. And I asked these expert gardeners, well, how many fruit trees have you guys planted at your house so far? And they said, we haven't yet, we just got certified. And so come back to me in 3 years and you killed every tree you put in your yard, and you put some compost in there. So trust me, I'm no certified expert. I'm a school of hard knocks guy. You guys can see my resume on my YouTube channel through videos. I'm being an athlete, but what I'm doing, I'm thinking it's working so far because I'm eating the fruit off the trees. It's me that success. The next key component for fruit trees is this stuff right here. It's black mold. And look at the difference of texture and color between this stuff is called worm castings as opposed to compost. So the compost is like a very nutrient dense stew. You get a really nutrient dense stew that was incredible tasting, full of different kinds of foods. That's the compost, it's the stew. But the worm castings is the wheatgrass shot. I want you guys all leave this class today and go to Whole Foods or Juice Bar and get a shot of wheatgrass and knock it back. That is nutrients for your blood. This worm casting is nutrients for the tree and the roots and the soil. This is gonna be a potent way to feed your trees. What Greg has got here, he brought some worms and worm castings from his own verticulture setup at his urban farm. And look at the worms in there dancing around. So this is also what you do at home. You can do your own worm bin. You don't get paid by anything. You do your own stuff to be completely DIY self-sufficient. And these guys do all the work for you. I used to have a worm tower, and now through my wood chips, the worms just find a way. You know, like Jeff Goldblum in Jurassic Park, nature finds a way. The worms find a way into the soil. So now my entire landscape is one big worm bin. Next, this really important product that's inside this bag. You guys can get this from Greg here today. It looks like chalk. If you guys forget, you can also get some of these gardening products at my gardening store at digmaze.com. So check it out. Let me know how you guys like the gardening store. Like Greg's got the Mason mix right here today. If I pull some of this out of here, you'll see how it looks like white chalk. Like the chalk you use when you were rock climbing at the rock climbing gym. This is really finely powdered chalk. And what this is called rock dust. And rock dust can be a different combination of different kinds of rocks that are all powdered up. And this brand is called Azomite. It's the brand name A to Z of minerals including trace elements. So rock dust is crucially important because this is the minerals that the soil needs to be effective. It's all microbes, all bugs, they're processing, eating, and breaking down this rock dust into nutrients the tree will use to grow. So when you guys eat food from your raised bed gardens, your in-ground garden, or from your fruit trees that has rock dust in it, you're not eating food that's been remineralized. It's more healthy than Donald Trump can ever purchase. Even if you're a billionaire, you can't possibly purchase food as healthy as you can garden. I say this in all my gardening tours and talks because that's the power of gardening. Even if you're buying organic food from the organic grocery store, who knows if the soil was mineralized? You guys mineralize your soil using products like this rock dust. And this Azomite has over 70 different kinds of minerals in it. Next, this is how you can jumpstart a newly planted fruit tree. This is called the mycorrhizae or mycorrhiza mycelium. And this brand is also at digmaze.com. It's a really good brand because it has different kinds of mycorrhizae in it. What happens is that you put this in the hole with your fruit tree, and when water hits it, the microbes begin to live, and their civilization begins to explode. So this is the way you can jumpstart the life in your soil and create that white web of mycelium in your ground. The cool thing is that this bag only costs like $7 or $8 or $9, and you can use it for like 7 or 8 trees. So you just go in here, take about an ounce or like a spoonful, and put it in the hole of your fruit tree, and all it takes is to supercharge the earth that the trees are planted inside. Now then I have this little chunk of brown goodness here. This is really important because this is an alternative to peat moss. You guys heard of peat moss? My mom told me a lot about gardening growing up, and she said you gotta put peat moss in your soil. But the problem is my mom didn't know that peat moss is like oil. It's not renewable. Once it's gone, it's gone. And I'm using renewable things myself. So cocoa peat or coconut pith or coconut coir, COIR, is a great product which is spongy. It's renewable from coconut husk, and they make it so that it conserves water in your soil. So this does not have nutrition for your plants. It just is built for water preservation. So when you guys put some coconut coir or coconut peat in your soil, it's gonna help reduce evaporation, which in the desert is very important. I want to show you guys what the native clay looks like in my garden. So here's my native clay, my native soil. It's just pretty much clay. This is old farming community out here. They built this suburban back in the 1970s. So we have the native clay out here that really looks kind of dusty. Great for cactus, great for natives, but not the best for fruit trees. So now you guys know what the secret Mason mix is. When I plant a new fruit tree, I put a combination of the clay, the compost, the worm castings, the rock dust chalk, the mycorrhizae, and the coconut pith. When I dig a hole for a new fruit tree, I use the native clay to create a berm around the hole so the water stays in the tree's root system. It's like a raised low mound around the hole with native clay. What Greg suggested to do is like 40% native clay and 60% the other organic matter, which include a combination of the compost, the worm castings, the rock dust, the mycorrhizae, and the coconut peat. Here's the thing: when you plant a new fruit tree, only like 1 spoonful of this mycorrhizae, only about 1 shovelful of this coconut peat, only about 2 shovelfuls of the worm castings, and only about 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 shovelfuls of the compost. So you gotta eyeball it and know how's your soil. Is it rocky? Is it clay-like? Contact guys like Greg. Go to his tree nursery and ask him in person what does he suggest. Maybe bring him a shovelful of your own soil to show him what you got. If you guys want to know exactly what I do, you go to digmaze.com. There's a green card you can get that has the exact breakdown of what I put and how much of what I put in my new fruit trees. Once the fruit tree is planted, it's crucial that on top of the soil, you put the wood chips. Don't put the wood chips inside the soil, put it on top of the soil and let them break down naturally over time. The cool thing about my urban gardening in Arizona Facebook group is I get to see pictures of you guys' gardens on there. And a lot of you guys plant a new fruit tree and put a little tiny bit of wood chips on top. It's not enough. At least 6 to 8 inches, up to 3 feet. Pile the wood chips on and make the wood chips go really big around the tree. And you think you have enough, triple it. Once the fruit tree is growing and established and you're watering it, you want to water it more frequently when it's newly planted and young, and then less frequently but deeper as it grows and becomes more mature. I have organic fertilizer that are heavy with sea ocean plants like kelp and seaweed that I will add to my fruit trees seasonally. This is from digmaze.com. I have a foliar feed that's cold pressed and organic made from kelp and seaweed extract that I mix with water and I spray on the leaves of my trees seasonally because trees absorb mineral nutrients from the leaves. What do you think the haboob is? The haboob, the dust storms. That's nature blowing minerals into your garden for your fruit trees. What I want to do now is show you guys some of my favorite areas of my yard and show you some before and after shots of how my yard looked before and what it looks like now. This is my favorite area of my garden. It took me 3 years to build this. I know you how to do this. I just basically took some classes with some pond people and watched a lot of YouTube videos. Now I have this clay dish with all my babies in it. And I don't have kids right now. These are my kids. These are my favorite. You guys here? They're all rescued clay fish from families who couldn't keep them anymore off Craigslist. The cool thing is I'll drop a small pump in there about 3 times a year. And I'll pump the nice healthy fish food water into my fruit trees, and the trees love it. And a combination of wood chips, all the nutrient dense soil, and koi pond is how I get my avocado tree to grow pretty well here. Been around 2 years. He started out 1 foot tall, and now he's over 14 feet tall. And you can see that in the summer and thrive in the winter and spring. One of my other favorite areas of my yard is right here because I can look out and see the date palm, the neem, the carrot, and the mulberry, and the pomelo trees, the citrus. And it's just really good for the soul to see fruit trees and you get to enjoy the fruit at the same time. That's why I put my being an athlete training system out here so I can keep getting strong as I'm growing a thriving garden. I also love this area full of dates, mulberries, and the sea. And that's why I put my Ninja Warrior course out here so I can get strong and enjoy nature all at the same time. I also love when things like this happen. One of my date palm got its first cluster this year. I pollinated it in male pollen. I thinned it out and raised it on this branch. Now I'm about to bag it, protect it from birds, and in about 2 months from now, I'll be eating my first ever dates that I grew in my backyard. And a 2.5 year process. I learned how to do dates. I'm so excited to eat these ones. You know they're right. I'll eat them with you guys on the Being Athlete YouTube channel. Hey, you guys out there, I call my followers love to garden my tree people. You guys are the fruit tree people. And we have to show the rest of humanity how to grow food at home so that we can live organically and locally in our front of backyards. What you guys will find is that when you become successful growing an abundant amount of food in your front of your backyard, it saves you so much money. It allows your health to skyrocket. You need less pills, less of the Western medical system. You don't care about the affordable care as much anymore. You're eating healthy food that you grew yourself. As I close out, I want to thank you guys for your interest in gardening. I hope you guys decide to grow a fun backyard food forest of gardens and fruit trees because in today's world, I believe that voting with your dollars is the most important thing you can do. And when you spend your money on your front of your backyard on yourselves, you're getting power back to yourselves and you're becoming the best example of a local person can be. So guys, take your money, invest in a fruit tree, invest in the tree that I mentioned here, invest in a garden. If you guys want to grow from seed, I have this great company that we started called Seed Bank Box. Go to seedbankbox.com and we'll ship seed right to your door. Only $20. Sign up for it, try it out. Thank you guys for coming into my yard today. I hope to meet you someday in person. Get out in nature and hike, grow a garden. It'll keep you healthy, it's good for your soul, and it's good for your stomach and your muscles and your skin and your organs and your blood and your entire well-being at the same time. If you want to follow me on a day-to-day basis of what I do in my garden, come to my Instagram, digmaze tai chi. Join my Urban Gardening Arizona Facebook group, and you can find all that stuff at digmaze.com, including my Vegan Athlete YouTube channel. Just go on YouTube and type in digmaze or the Vegan Athlete to find almost 500 videos about gardening, living healthy, and growing food forest from scratch. Right now I'm going to show you guys some before and after shots of different parts of my yard. I only have about 1 acre here, so kind of bio-intensive, but it's really amazing the process of how this place has been reshaped in the last 7 years. So let's cut some before and after, some pictures from my videos, and I hope it will inspire you.